So look, the president has always put equity at the center of every policy he's put forward, every legislation that he's put forward, because we understand that many communities have been left behind. We're not trying to do the trickle-down economics. We really, truly are not. That's not what the president believes in. He wants to make sure that the middle class, that we build an economy bottom up, and that we continue to build the middle class. That's what's really important, and we do not leave anybody behind. So we're going to continue to have those conversations to let that strong coalition know what we have done in the last almost 3 years now of this administration, and again, what this president has been steadfast on, and making sure that we give that relief to American people. Equity.
Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place.
Equity.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we could get the same amount, but you're still going to be that far back behind me. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
Equity.
Moreover, when we advance equality and racial justice, and invest in young people, protect the LGBTQ plus individuals, our societies are not only fair, but they're stronger and more successful. Moreover, when we advance equality.
And on the issue of equity, this commission is about speaking real, right? Motivated by hope and faith, but speaking truth about the obstacles to actually achieving all that hope and faith can drive. When we talk about, like you said, Mr. Secretary, about equity, so many of us have come from movements that were about the fight for equality. We also understand there's a difference between equality and equity. Equity is everyone deserves to have, right, and be treated equal. But equity understands that not everybody starts out on the same base. So if you're giving everybody an equal amount, but they're starting out on different bases, are they really going to have the opportunity to compete and achieve? That's why we purposefully, as an administration, the president, myself, the secretary, and everyone in our administration are so dedicated to a specific principle, which is that of equity. Understanding we must speak truth, we must be clear-eyed, we must see who's not in the room, who's never been in the room, where are the resources going, who needs what kind of resources to do what? To be able to compete equally, to have equal opportunity to achieve, to have equal encouragement, to have aspirations and be ambitious. So it's all of that. And it's not just simply about financial resources. That is a very big part of it. But it's also about what is the culture of the environment. How are we approaching this issue in a way that we also understand we cannot support and help our young people if we don't also look at the context in which those young people live and are being raised, which means necessarily, because our edict and our mission is not to come out and say, well, we could do this better. Part of the extension of the work you will do is, yes, focused on our young leaders and our young people, but understanding we also then have to be clear about the needs of their parents and their grandparents and their teachers and their communities. The principles of equity, understanding the inequities, which, we all understand the difference between equality and equity, right? Equality suggests, well, let's give everyone an equal share, everyone, right? But equity understands not everyone starts out at the same base. And so we need to take that into account and have policies that are motivated by equitable outcomes.
A lot of people hear equity and they hear equality, that it's the same word. And it's not the same word and the same concept. So how would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about, I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, Equality is equality of opportunity. All right? We live in a society, we want all people to have whatever color your skin is.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so. I think that's
okay. So which side do you come down on?
Equality.
Equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And in the process of maximizing our collective future, this will also help our nation, by example, to do what we must do to close the wealth gap in our country, the education gap in our country, and the opportunity gap that still exists in far too many communities. This work, of course, is grounded in the concept of equity, which we all know and understand. Equity it's about understanding that the reality is not everybody starts out on the same base. So when we talk about equality, well, that's a good goal, but let us not presume that because everyone should be treated equal, that they start out on equal footing. So equity, as a concept, says recognize that everyone has the same capacity, but in order for them to have equal opportunity to reach that capacity, we must pay attention to this issue of equity if we are to expect and allow people to compete on equal footing.
It's not fair! It's not fair! It's not fair! It's not